Alrighty guys, it is time for us to talk about the last suits in the minor arcana. And that is the suit of swords. Alright, let's do this. So, swords rule the matter of mental and physical strength. It has a deep sense of having to make decisions, defense, sticking up for yourself for another, sticking up to your own inner parasite, etc. So, with that being said, the season that rules the suit of swords is fall. That is initiated by the first day of Libra. The element that controls the suits is air. Those astrological correspondent. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to notate something to verbalize even just better than I was doing before. When I say element and astrological signs, so the elements, when I say that, it means more than just the three signs attached to it. If I say that the swords controlled by air, well, air is communication, air is flow. Earth is grounding, centering, focusing, etc. That has a different full process than when we start explaining the astrological correspondences. I can completely understand how that can be confusing because we know there's air placements, water placements, fire placements, earth placements, etc. But what they're stating with that element card being, or that the suit of swords being controlled by the element air, means a lot of times when you pull those cards, it's talking about you need communication. It's something that's happening in this existence, right? It's not about grounding. It's not about fury. It's about action and being in flow. That's what that represents. Now, the astrological correspondences to the swords. Number 1, Gemini. That is May 21st to June 20th. Number 2, Libra. That is September 23rd all the way to October 22nd. And 3, Aquarius. That is from January 20th all the way to February 18th. All right, now let's go ahead and dive into each individual card. Ace of Swords. This represents raw intellectual energy. It's about ideas. It's about living through a balance of rationality, but seeing it's rational to know your dreams are more than possible. It's having a bigger understanding, being ready to conquer. It's having an inspiring leader by your side. It's being open to stimulating your nervous system, your nerves. It's being able to thrive in those moments of itch, of tingle, of pre-workout effect is what I call it. When you pull the Ace of Swords up hand, let's do representation, okay? If I was pulling the Ace of Swords up hand in a business reading, should I take this leap? What do I have to do? Spirit's saying as long as you put your raw, authentic power into it, you embrace, you expand, you allow yourself to walk into the moments of fear. You allow yourself to be stimulated by others, but always bring things back into an individuality to go forward with it. That this is something beyond you choosing. Whatever you're embarking on is a destiny for you. That's what the Ace of Swords means up hand. It's a yes. Now, in reversal, that is a mental block. That's needing to re-examine yourself. That's seeing somebody and or yourself, depending on the reading, could be misusing their power. It's another sense also of more preparation being needed before you make the forward movement. It's noticing fishy behavior. It's that sixth sense. Okay, so same question. If I asked, should I go forward with this business partner, etc., and I pull the Ace of Swords in reverse, what that's telling me is Spirit saying there is more to this than you need. There's more to this you need to examine before giving so much credit. That tingle with a person where you're like, it seems on the outside that people invest their money and etc. into them, but something's telling me I need to ask more questions and etc. to see if this person truly knows what they're talking about, truly has something to give, isn't just piggybacking off the ideas of others. The Ace of Swords is in reverse, is saying the person you could be getting in business with could just be somebody that piggybacks off of your ideas. Now, there's a difference between somebody that's willing to invest in your ideas, but gives you full creative clarity. They are like, I am ready, and I'm willing to invest my money into you. But I'm giving you the full power with this dynamic. There's a difference between that and then a person who wants to take credit for your creativity. Now, the Two of Swords uphand. That is a decision. That is somebody that is willing to meet you halfway, but it's being understanding that you're not walking there, you're already there. You're already sitting in front of each other. And you're like, we have to make a decision now on what's going on. We have to compromise. It's a compromising energy. It doesn't mean there's not going to be uncertainty. It's validating the questions of the other where there is missing information. It's not avoiding what needs to be talked about to allow expansion. It's that friend that you know you can have uncomfortable conversations with for further growth, not attacking each other. When I pull the Two of Swords up here, and if it was about a friend, okay, to come back into your life, should this friend come back into my life? And I pull the Two of Swords up here, and what that would be telling me is yes, but you have to set healthy boundaries for yourself and with them. But you have to make sure your presentation doesn't overspeak your words. We can so fast go into talking from here to here to, in a sense, I like to say here to here, battling ego. This brain is a computer. It is the software, or our thoughts are the software. This 3D brain is where everything connects. But this is the true steer. This is what you see happen invisibly. You can see the wires on a computer, everything connected, but somehow, in a sense, we know it's not magical, but there's a thing about technology, electricity, and etc. that is actually spiritual alchemy that people don't realize. But we will dive into that another time. We can see the wires of how the computer connects to the display and etc. That's your physical brain. If we crack this open, we would see all the lines, the ridges, how everything connects. But the fact that the thing actually turns on and works, that is in a sense invisible. That is your third eye. Everything connects. If I were to pull the Two of Swords in reverse, that is an overwhelming amount of information. It's giving so much information so fast that it's confusing. It's somebody that may be throwing a lot of information at you to decept you. It's somebody that would almost talk you to exhaustion. You can even sense at times spirit tuning out what this person is saying to you. The white noise, etc. could overcome. In situations of the Two of Swords in reverse, let's do the same exact question. Should I bring this friend back into my life? Can we get to a mutual understanding? and I received that, I would be told that you may have a friend that likes to just tire people out until they just cave into what they're saying. There's a difference between somebody who either wants to share extremely what they've learned or has anxiety within themselves so they can overtalk, explain things too fast, etc. There's a difference in that energy versus somebody that's intentionally doing that. The Two of Swords in reverse is somebody that intentionally deceives you through misinformation and information overload. It's somebody that is stuck in their ways in a sense, and it's best for you to see they won't be able to come to a compromise. Number 3, Three of Swords. That is what I call one of my frenzy cards. So first I'm going to explain to you the Rider Traditional's way of what it means, and then I will explain to you my meaning of it. Another thing I like to know is you're going to hear the most frenzy cards I've said to you in this whole entire process, all of this coaching. You've probably heard me say frenzy card maybe 2 or 3 times in each suit. This, I have I think it's like 5 or 6 frenzy cards. The Suit of Swords is very different for me because so much of it already means defense. We need to be able to understand more what way of defense, what type of defense. So between me and my guides, I figured out which ones I tweaked for that. Again, I teach you both, so you have the traditional, and then if it resonates with you, you can incorporate mine, and then one day make completely your own frenzy cards. All right. So number 3, traditional. It's about despair and anguish, pain. It's having heartbreak. It's somebody who is just staying in a mourning state and is needing to understand they have to embrace the anger, the anguish, etc. to move forward. In the reversal, it would mean forgiveness, mental healing. It's being optimistic and seeing we can work through these burdens together. And a deep sense of self-forgiveness as well. Beautiful interpretation. But I feel like I've already stated cards like that. Like that's kind of, almost to me, that feels like Two of Swords again. So, my frenzy card for 3 is probably one of the most different ones that you will hear. My Three of Swords means you are on the battlefield, right? And you're getting teared down. You're getting hurt. And your team can see you from home base. You got that one person who's like, I'm not letting this happen in front of my eyes. I don't care if I'm safe. I'm going to go from straight safety, charge myself out there for you. I'm going to grab you and put you on my back, and I don't care if I get bruised, if I get hit, if I get knocked down. I will not stop. I will be there for you because I know you would do the same for me, and because it's what I want to do. It's unconditional loyalty, not conditioned loyalty. That is a ride or die. That is somebody who's willing to go through the pain, the anguish, the heartbreak, possibility of putting themselves on the line, because they don't do it for just everybody, but you're one they damn well would do it for without a second thought. The Three of Swords in reverse, frenzy card meaning somebody's watching you from home base, and they're not, even if they, most of them want to, most of them all want to come save you, but they freeze and they don't have it in themselves. They aren't strong enough and are deeply afraid and will let something they love destroy in front of them because of fear of being part of it, of the destroy, of the loss. Those types of people tend to go on the rest of their life saying, what if I would have done something? Interpretation for the Three of Swords in reverse. seeing a friend who could have a substance abuse and just feeling like it's wrong, feeling like you want to say all these things, but being somebody that just enables it and never truly tells them or intervenes and is like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? There's a difference between a friend who tried and tried and tried and finally had to pick themselves from trying so much to help versus one who never did it to begin with. And let's say, this is an intense example, but when I pull Three of Swords, it's always very intense things. Three of Swords is one of my cards that makes me be like, yo, humor, Matt, humor, Uncle Bronze, etc. is not going to come out at this moment from whatever the card is about. It's one of the most serious cards for me. It's like all that happening and then the friend passing away from, an overdose or etc. And that person with the Three of Swords in reverse will wonder, what if I would have tried? I would say the Three of Swords up hand, same interpretation would be, you did everything you could. You tried as hard as you could. And you can go forth with your life knowing that. It's a very deep card. Now, number 4 of Swords. That is rest, that is recovery, that is going ahead and knowing, hey, I will stay and I will be in a mental block if I don't just go to home base and allow myself to rest. It's restoring your force. It is a temporary retreat. It's going ahead and saying, I'm going to ground myself before I make any definitive decisions on leaving a dynamic, having this person in the past. But the thing is, for me, with the Four of Swords, I almost take it almost more as physical body rejuvenation, right? We have the Hermit card, which we talked about videos before, which is about going inwards and seeking your counsel, your spiritual, mental counsel, and sometimes 3D world people that you experience mature and wise advice from. I feel since there's a card already locked in for that interpretation, the Four of Swords, when I feel the Four of Swords, I see people sleeping in beds. I see people laying down and asleep, resting, getting massages, etc. So Four of Swords is more your body telling you, hey, you do need mental escape. But to get there, there's something of actually focusing on resting the body. You could get the Four of Swords up hand telling you, hey, you're really working hard, you're doing good, but let's not burn out. Let's go ahead and if you gotta take a day to sleep, if you're a person that gets your 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day, and you got that one Sunday or etc. to sleep for 10 hours, and your body's telling you to do it, do it. It's saying it's okay to just chill. It's also like if you are getting ready for a triathlon, some form of sporting event, etc., where you're going to have to exert an extreme amount of force. It's saying you have trained enough. It is time to now sleep and let your body be restored for that war, that battle, that game, etc. The Four of Swords in reverse is burnout energy. It's stagnation. It's saying, yo, you hit the point of going over, and if you don't go ahead now and rest, it's going to lead to stagnation. It's going to lead to you not being able to make any decisions, and it's the energy of when you start working out 6 days a week from the very beginning of the journey or etc. And then you do that for a month, 2 months, whatever, and you just fucking give out and you stop even working out. It's counterproductive. When you're trying to be extremely productive, being counterproductive. Four of Swords in reverse is letting you know, hey, if you continue to not give yourself rest, you're going to burn out to the point where you will let your motivation only be moved by inspiration instead of consistency. We want long-term goals, not short-term goals, when it comes to the Four of Swords energy. Now, number 5, Swords. This is another frenzy card, okay? So, riders in traditional form. It's about dishonor, it's conflict, it's getting cheated. It's defeat, it's a deep sense of inner resentment for a person and never getting clarity on something, so assumptions being able to line up with truth. In reverse, it would represent humiliation, a sense of being bullied. Instead of being defeated, you're being ridiculed. If I were to pull the 5 of Swords up hand, okay, and it was a love reading, well, I'm gonna wait to do that representation because I don't take 5 swords at all like this. So I'm just gonna continue to explain and then I'll give you representation with how I use it. Again, so to sum up, reiterate, 5 of Swords up hand, traditional, is about being like cheated out of an opportunity, a person, etc. It's outer conflict, and it could be holding a deep sense of embedded resentment to a person. Reversal, it feels humiliating. It's bullying. It's getting belittled. It's not feeling strong enough to stand up for yourself. Now, I completely, you probably could feel it, even just saying 5 of the Swords like that does not feel right at all for me. It is another card that I have almost a completely different interpretation for, but you take what resonates, okay? So Uncle Bronze Friends is meaning of 5 of Swords, up hand. That is a conquest. That is a lot of surrounding enemies that want you to be defeated, but have no chance. It is somebody that tries to weaponize their strength, but you're stronger because you have this, while they only have this. It is a lot of times being the little guy, but being able to overcome the bigger guy. A lot of times it is a feminine honoring their masculine nature, being able to overpower a fake leader, a fake masculine. 5 of Swords up hand, Uncle Bronze way, is a hard victory. It is fighting through deceit. Something I feel called to tell you is our law of attraction stems from the way we think and talk about things. We don't have to believe in the shits and rainbows. There is a balance. But if you get sucked up in the way of talking like it has control over you, or that you're accepting defeat, etc., it's almost reinforcing it. Sometimes the way I feel that traditional tarot has been written is very much past tense energy, and forgetting how to get people to reflect but not live in the past tense energy. I mean, everything's always in upgrading, improving, right? And that is a Matthew, Uncle Bronze inner truth. If this resonates with you, take it. So, 5 of Swords in reverse, Uncle Bronze way, is saying you have to understand if you gave something your all and it did not work out, you did not give up, you let go. It is fully understanding that if you have given your all into a battle, like to save a friendship, a dynamic relationship, you have no control over the other person's actions. You only have the control of how you let it affect you. And even if you lost the battle, you won the war. The 5 of Swords, summed up frenzy card, up hand, is you won the victory. You and your teammates fought through the deceit. It is about outwards people. It's not about your inner paranoia. It's not about you fighting through your own deceit. It's outwards when it's 5 of Swords. Reversal, you understand you could have lost the battle, but you won the war. And you gave it everything you could. And what you did was let go. You didn't give up. Number six. Number six up hand is escape. It's a change of situation. It's a voyage. It's deciding, you know what, I'm willing to let go of the past and look at the resolutions forward. No turning back. When I pull the Six of Swords in a reading, let's state, about a relationship. Two people that deeply loved each other, but know that the only way forward for each is to go on different ships. It could be one of those dynamics where you break up, but it wasn't toxic at all. It wasn't a yelling and belittling relationship. It was like two people who have so many goals and are being pulled to two different sides of the world. And either one to stay together would have to sacrifice their goal. And both people love each other enough to know we can't do that. I love you too much to try to put you in a position to sacrifice your dreams and vice versa. So we have to let each other go now and know that if our ships are meant to cross again, we'll do it on the other side. But right now, we gotta go like this, and maybe, if it's meant to be, with divine timing, we'll come back like this. It's faith. Six of Swords in reverse is unfinished business. It's resisting the change, okay? It's feeling trapped and avoiding the growth and remembering you need to make the most of a situation. Sometimes the most you make of a situation is knowing, yeah, I spent every day for a long time having this person in my life. Yeah, we had a whole dynamic. They were part of my stability. But now it's rocky ground. And it's toxic and it's codependency. If we stay in each other's lives, it's stagnation. But it's almost like a Six of Swords in reverse is letting you know that's happening. It's like when it's all subconscious, but you need somebody to tell you, hey, your unfinished business between each other is finishing the contract. It's stating, hey, the stagnation isn't coming from a sense of, oh, if I go forward, I'm giving up, and I'm just like leaving with things that still needed to be answered. It's stating, no, you're supposed to finish it up. That this is the let go. So if you need to have those last few conversations, here is us acknowledging it, letting you know. But if you continue down this road of pushing off, you can never get on the boat. It's like letting people cut in front of you in the line over and over again, waiting for somebody else to meet up with you. The Six of Swords up hand, go forward, voyage, no doubts. Six of Swords in reverse, there's a few things that have to be last checked off the list, and then you got to go forward, or else you're not going to be able to go anywhere. Seven of Swords, another frenzy card. Okay, so traditional Rider's Tarot version. It's trickery. It's a sense of, okay, let's go ahead and explain it a little bit this way. Because so, the Seven of Swords, my frenzy card meaning, is pretty much the same when it comes to the up hand, right? The reversal is where that frenzy card meaning comes in hand, okay? So, back to just explaining the traditional version. Seven of Swords up hand is trickery, deceit. It's stealing, it's plotting to go behind somebody's back or somebody go behind your back. It's having to, in a sense, draw on intuition and no 3D evidence. In the reversal, traditional, it would mean a sense of imposter syndrome or victorhood or victimhood, or not really being able to admit things within self to go forward. I love that interpretation, but again, I think we already have some other cards that are talking about inner self, when it's self making you not be able to go forward, etc. The Seven of Swords up hand frenzy card meaning, I absolutely do see it as deceit and trickery, and it's letting you know it's around you. Not that you're falling to it, It's using ultimate use of your skills and knowing any time that there's been deceit or etc. It's building my intuition. It's not being scared that people are getting one over you. It's looking at somebody in face and knowing that they're trying to deceive you, but you just smile. And you do this subconsciousness of like, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I can see past you. It's like when you have a group of friends and they're like, oh, there's this new person, or I want you to meet this friend, etc. And you meet them and you just see through them instantly. But you're that silent person in the back. Because you know one day people are going to come to you and say, hey, what do you think about this person? And you're going to go, you're asking me for my truth? Okay, well, this is it. And they're going to listen. They're going to listen because you never tried to exert your universal truth on others or make them look bad. You were that quiet one, the fly on the wall, if you will, seeing what was happening and waiting for people to come to you for questions. The Five of Swords in reverse, or I'm sorry, the Seven of Swords in reverse, for me, represents even more of a sense of you are falling to deceit. That there could be somebody you're hypnotized by their sexual attraction to them, their ability to influence a crowd, a person that leads through ego you could be falling to or falling for. It's letting you know, hey, there is something that makes you feel that they're keeping secrets and you're afraid to ask because there's this internalness of I don't want to mess things up. There's a difference between having a person in your life who you care so deeply about and you want to make sure that you're going forward with each other and you're not speaking out of ego or speaking out of fear and messing with the law of attraction between you two. That's like Two of Swords energy versus this, where it's a person that like you can feel internally they psychologically put you in a position of like, don't ask me that or else we're gonna have problems. It's the person that will roll their eyes or why are you talking about this again, and etc. The person that will tell you, hey, if you need recognition, if you need more communication, let me know, but then never actually follow through and make you feel bad for wanting the more clarification. Seven of Swords Frenzy card, meaning summed up for Uncle Bronze, is letting you know up hand there's deceit. You are correct, your intuition's correct, but go ahead and wait for people to come and ask you for your opinion and your forward movement. Reversal, you could be falling to somebody's looks, who you think they are, a sense of, I like to say a sense of a love spell because I'm very particular on telling people how less of the time it's ever a hex or a spell going on with you when it comes to a connection with another person. Don't get me wrong, there are the abilities to do that. But here's the thing, most people who try to enact a love spell or etc. don't even know what they're doing, are not skilled enough, because most people who truly understand what it means to give a love spell understand the repercussions and how fucked up it really is. That could be a personal thing for me, but with every other spiritual leader and etc. I've talked to, something we all I've noticed resonate with is we would never perform a love spell. Now there's a difference between manifesting your divine. There's a difference between stating I'm going to manifest my divine. When you have no set person in mind, you're not trying to manifest the way they look, the way they sound. You are manifesting their soul. That's different between, oh, Parker, George, Stephanie, whatever, are the ones that I'm trying to manifest to be in love with me. That two totally different things. Seven of Swords in reverse, if you're ever in a reading asking about, hey, did somebody try to like perform a love spell on me or etc., with a bunch of other cards paired that I would need even to verify that they were trying to do a love spell, would state that there is somebody nonetheless trying to manipulate you for their own gain and not thinking about how it could be affecting your life. It could be the friend in a way that has nothing to do with like magic. Here's another example. It could be you're in a very loving relationship and your partner has a best friend who you know is in love with your partner and tries to take away from your relationship with them. They will belittle you and say, oh, you could do better than them. I would be a better partner than them, etc. Somebody that can get upset extremely and be like, why do you have to spend all your time with your partner and none with me anymore? There's a difference between that and a friend that's like, hey, I miss you. Want to chill soon? There's a difference. This is somebody that it's so intentional. And they make it very known they don't like you and they're jealous of the attention you get from your partner. It is understanding you have to trust your partner enough to talk about these things and let them decide from there if they're going to separate from this friend. Deep card. 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and 7 of Swords are extremely deep cards. Now, number 8, another frenzy card. Number 8, traditional. It does represent helplessness, being trapped in danger. There's obstacles, there's needing to escape a bad situation. It's outwards. It is about other people trying to put you in a corner and etc. The reversal traditional meaning for 8 of Swords is inner guilt. It's having invasive thoughts. It's feeling shameful. It's a lot about taking blame for things that are not your problem. Now, I definitely, with my frenzy card meaning with the 8 of Swords, agree with the whole sense of it being outwards. It's letting you know other people are trying to get in your head. It's not you psychologically attacking yourself. It's somebody else could be trying to psychologically attack you and put you in a corner. I believe that completely. It resonates with me. It could be somebody that you know is hiding behind a mask, and the mask is very scary, and they're actually, they want me to state it this way, somebody that acts like they're so strong and scary, but instantly would cower away if you stood up to them. The 8 of Swords in reverse is where my frenzy card meaning really comes in. Because I see the reverse as you banished that person. You escaped the bitter end. You banished the self needed to have approval through this person. You did not let the parasite, which is telling you there's nothing better than this, keep you in it. You escaped that 3D world person's influence. Now, 9 of Swords. This is the last frenzy card I have in the suit of Swords. Traditional meaning up hand, anxiety, fear, delusion. It's inner paranoia. How the 8 of Swords is about the outwards people. Well, 9 of Swords is what's going on within self. It's not an outside force trying to influence you. At least with that question, that moment, they're letting you know it's something within self. It could be having a lack mindset and letting the dark thoughts cloud assessment of yourself. The reversal is feeling powerless. It's quiet suffering. It's having secrets that you're afraid to share to the world. A deep sense of also almost crumbling to that anxiety and fear. Now I'm going to go into my frenzy card meaning of that, because for me it feels like each way says the same thing. If anything, it's saying Nine of Swords up pan, you're stuck more in the fear, in the what ifs, and the reversal is stating you're afraid to share your secrets with somebody. You're afraid of what somebody would think, which I get that, makes sense. But my meaning, what resonates with me with the Nine of Swords, absolutely paranoia. Up hand is paranoia. It is letting you know anxiety and fear is trying to get the best of you. The dark thoughts could be clouding how you view yourself, and what ifs could be taking control. The frenzy card meaning for me comes in the reversal, okay? I see it as understanding the perils. It's coming back to your true self. It's not allowing the fear and the parasite, etc., to stop you from moving forward. It's honoring your mistakes. It's honoring and knowing the only way to progress is to make errors at times. It's knowing this situation made me stronger and humbled me to continue connecting to others in my 3D existence. Not being so harsh or vain. Not becoming the thing I never wanted to be. Not becoming the ones and the situations that hurt me. For me, that's what makes sense with the Nine of Swords, both ways. Feeling called to say our interpretation. Let's say you had a friend you've for so long given to people and didn't receive that love back, and you shed those people that no longer serve. You went through self-work, and you had new people come into your life that meet you at the frequency now. Friends that truly give you balance, give and take. And you don't know how to handle it. And your fear or your parasite tries to say there's something they want. They're giving this to you. They're trying to take your force, etc. The Nine of Swords up hand could be almost like allowing that belief to cloud that you have a true, authentic friend in front of you. Somebody that actually just cares about you. And you could be pushing away a person due to nothing but that fear. The reversal Nine of Swords would mean you overcame it. You didn't allow yourself to self-sabotage by treating this new authentic friend in the same frequency as those people of the past. It's knowing, hey, right now I'm getting used to receiving something I've always wanted but never did. It could be overwhelming at first. It could be scary because your body knows how to register trauma, but it was yet to know how to register an authentic, unconditional friend. Now, let's move on. Ten of Swords. So, Ten of Swords, if you remember, if we go all the way back to when we were talking about the major Arcana, I stated that a lot of people take the Tower card as the energy intensity of the Ten of Swords. So, for a refresh, the Tower card represents somebody and something has to crumble all the way down so you can start from foundation and rebuild. It is destruction for upgrades. It is knowing whatever is going down right now is happening for me, not to me. And it's time to rebuild. The Ten of Swords represents destruction of like defeat. It's like you gotta end this, or it's gonna take your life in another direction. It's knowing, yes, this is painful, but it is the only way forward. There is not something to rebuild. I'm feeling called to do a representation of this. If I had two people, if I had a love reading, and they were asking me, can we rebuild from this? Do we just need to take some time apart, but we'll come back together? If I received the Tower, I would say there is a very deep-rooted ability for you two to come back together after time of apart and of rebuilding your structures. If I would pull the 10 of Swords in the same question, I would tell that person, you got to stay away. That person is going to completely throw off your life. 10 of Swords is one of the only cards that would say something to that tenacity from a person. Depending on the other cards that's surrounding them, it would be different. Like, let's say, for an example, I pulled 9 of Swords in reverse paired with 10 of Swords up hand. I would then know their fear, their parasite wants them to think that this person is that destruction. If they don't get rid of them, their life's going to trickle down, etc. That we're not going to let the fear of that cloud what's actually going on. But if I were to pull 9 of Swords up hand paired with 10 of Swords up hand, there is an alignment of your body saying there is a frequency of something making you imbalanced. That's more than having one sleepless night. This is a person that you continuously have stayed and allowed yourself to stay in a state of inner paranoia for. It would be letting me know the only way they're going to be able to get rid of this embedded thought, this cycle repeat, this area that doesn't lead to expansion, is by ending the dynamic. It is letting me know that the cure for this person's paranoia in this instance is releasing that very toxic connection and not going back to it. The reversal is you went through the fire. You already released what no longer served. You escaped the bitter end. You gave yourself another chance. It's making healthy habits of deep importance. 10 of Swords up hand is stating, let's do like a health thing, okay? If I were to do a health reading and I got 10 of Swords up hand, I would say there is some drastic changes you need to make to your diet, to your lifestyle. Because if you don't, and remember, there has to be a bunch of other cards paired. It's not every single time when you pull one card going to ever mean just one thing. I want to reassure you of that. The big thing to remember is these cards are here to help us, not scare us. If I would pull the 10 of Swords paired with like Justice in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, etc., they'd be telling me in a health reading that there has to be some form of upgrade of your diet, your activities, your mindsets, or else you're going to lead to having a much more difficult life than you need to. If I would pull the 10 of Swords in reverse for the same exact type of question, it would let me know you have made this part of you. You're not motivated by just inspiration. You are consistent. You have gone ahead and made yourself your number one importance. And these upgrades are for the better. And you're charging through them with deep embedded grace. The page. Now let's move on to the page. Number 11. Page of Swords. Now that represents curiosity. That is the sponge. That is the person who wants to problem solve. They absolutely will hear gossip, but won't spread it, won't feed into it. It's a quick-minded person who's energetic. They work best with like hands-on information. They're ready for action. Their perception on life is optimism. They have guts and hard work. They are somebody that has potential if they continue to drive through their passion, consistency. It is that intern that something in them twinkles different. You're like, there's something different about you. You're worth investing my time to. I can see where you're going to go. It's that person where you become some form of a leader and you go, you know what? I see a younger version of me in you. And I know you've crossed my path for a reason. I'm supposed to teach you something. I'm supposed to help lead you in the right direction, and I'm gonna invest my time in you. If you were hiring a new person for your job or to work for you, etc., and I got the Page of Swords up hand, it would be telling me this is somebody to invest your time in. This is somebody who you see the bigger picture for. They just have to keep it in themselves, absolutely. But maybe we can help them not have to go through as many hurdles or struggles as you did. The things that you had to teach yourself, maybe just even if it's just one thing that person doesn't have to go through and learn from you, you're doing it. The Page of Swords in reverse would be somebody who is obsessed with gossip, slander. It's somebody who cannot work in controlled chaos. It's somebody who gets overwhelmed very easily. It could be somebody with hidden motives and secrets. It's like that friend who is only being a friend with somebody to get information about them or pass it on to somebody else. And it's remembering, though, do not mix up giving people chances as you being ignorant. What I see with the Page of Swords in reverse for the same exact thing, hiring somebody. If you were to pull the Page of Swords in reverse about a person, I would say they're saying you've kind of been here before. You could have hired somebody in the past where you were like, something's telling me something's telling me they don't got it in them, but I don't want to just believe that. I don't want to give up on somebody. I don't want to be that leader that just says no. So you fight your intuition and you hire them on, and then it turns out not working out. And you decide, okay, I'm going to learn from this. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't arrogant. I was believing in the highest timeline of a person, but I cannot distract myself from when Spirit's showing me all the signs that they're not ready for something. And maybe they will be one day, but not now. And I'm not going to get myself mixed up in that energy again to make things harder for myself. I'm not giving up on them. I'm letting go, and I'm letting Spirit take them from there, because it is not your responsibility to lead everybody. Not everybody that comes your way are you meant to give your all to. Some people are tests. And I would say in that type of reading, if you got Page of Swords in reverse, they're saying the person in front of you, you've experienced that before. And it's that energy of they will be hired one day by somebody. They will be able to do things one day, but they're not ready for it. They'll be overwhelmed. They don't know what they're getting themselves set up for. And you do. And you have to listen to them. It's saying maybe not now, but try again in the future. Or take what you learned from this interview, take what you learned from this experience, and progress. It's wishing the person the best, but sending them on their way. The Knight, number 12, the Knight of Swords. So that's an assertive person. That can be a little bit of an arrogant energy. They're quick-witted. They're an intense, like, you're going to see me. I am here, and I'm ready to cheer and be loud. It's a heroic personality. They got that warlike behavior. They got no doubts. A Knight of Swords protects their own. Knight of Swords is ready to fight. And again, there could be a little bit if mixed in with if I would get like the Page of Swords paired with the Knight of Swords, I'd be told that you got a really good person who has a lot of energy, but they're gonna need to be kept in check sometimes. Like, all right, settle down. They're very protective people. Knight of Swords. And once they've harnessed that self-control, they're a force that can make anything move. There's somebody that has determination and shows people the results by continuing your routine. It is a person that is very energetic and ready to go forward, thrives in controlled chaos, but is organized for their age, is able to handle giving responsibilities to. It's the difference between like the Page of Swords up hand paired with the Knight of Swords up hand would be, yo, this is like a really like freshly put into this person. Like the opportunity, whatever's happening, has been fresh. They've never done it before, but they are flying. They are gaining these skills so much faster than people normally are, and they're supposed to be moved up faster because of it. It's not saying, oh, you've been here longer, so you're going to raise up because just that. It's understanding somebody can be in the same spot as that person for 5 years, but not give the effort that person is, so they stay with their law of attraction, versus that young soul who's getting it and going and showing the world, give me more. The Knight of Swords in reverse is a reckless energy. It's somebody that plays mind games. It's that person that likes to be the face and be the loudest person in the room for attention and gets something out of working people up. It's somebody who's impulsive and will talk before thinking. It's somebody who is such an intense energy that you want to break free from it, and the individuals that at that point in their life aren't strong enough to defend themselves will get succumb to it. The Knight of Swords is the boyfriend, or etc. I feel called to state this. The Knight of Swords in reverse is the boyfriend or person, etc. that will put you in the corner and yell at you and ask why you're scared, not understanding the power of their presence. It's somebody who would verge on, depending on the situation and the cards all pulled, being very reckless to the point where it could do physical damage, and is to be aware that they are not ready for a greater responsibility. They have a lot to learn. Number 13, the Queen of Swords. That is an observant and strong feminine energy. That is somebody who's deeply independent, has worked on not being too self-critical, but still keeping themselves in check. It is a lone wolf. It is somebody who can completely be on their own, but still works great with the team. It's not somebody who just can only work on their own. They can work on their own and they can be part of a team. They are a solitude leader who's able to go out into self-isolation and gain spiritual awakenings, etc., and bring them back and share. There is a bit of a sense of what I'm trying to say. There's a bit of a sense with the Queen of Swords, depending on what cards it's paired with, where this person can have gone through so much before that they almost don't know if they want another team. It's kind of like what I'm being called to talk about is, this is funny because I don't even really watch this show, but it's going to resonate for somebody here. You know The Walking Dead and Rick and etc. Like, they have all these teams and people keep deserting or going away, etc. I think, I never even finished the show, but I think now Rick is like on his own. He's decided he doesn't want a team or etc. He put himself into self-exile versus self-isolation. It is a leader who has decided, I don't know if I want to lead right now. Depending on all the other cards, the Queen of Swords is one of those cards that I deeply have to have other cards to interpret what way that is supposed to be understood in that specific reading. Because sometimes Spirit can let me know I need to let this person know they could be self-exiling, that they can trust that this point of this life is to live into love and to let go and then repeat, versus, hey, you do go on your own journey right now and you come back to your pack when you're ready. Depends. The Queen of Swords in reverse could be like a bitter person who has been manipulated so much in the past that they forgot that they're a leader of this world. It's being extremely self-critical and feeling like it's better if I just take myself away from everybody. It's self-exile. It's not self-isolation, it's self-exile. And it's needing to accept that sometimes we need help. It's also a sense of defending yourself too much to people who are extremely loyal to you. The Queen of Swords in reverse could be letting you know you got people around you that want to help you and you're pushing them away. That don't let the people that hurt you and did betray you stop you from being part of your team now. The King, now number 14, the King of Swords up hand. That is an intellectual leader. They are able to manage. They don't micromanage. They understand they can give people responsibilities and they're grown-ass adults and they can handle it themselves. This is a person that is able to give people objectives, but freedom. It is a fair leader. It's a justice activated leader. So normally a King of Swords is somebody who's been through an extreme amount of deceit in their life, being belittled, being walked on, and because of that they will always be an extremely humble leader who is that hands-on. It is that leader, it is that teacher that will go to war by your side. Or if something I'm feeling very called to state as an example is if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, you can have proprietors or managers, etc., that will belittle you and say do this task, but they think they're above it, and you will completely be like, one day when I'm a leader, I will not be like that. I will remember these moments when I saw these people that I was afraid to stand up to, put in positions that I can't stand up to, and made to feel little, like less than. Normally a King of Swords, the up hand, has dealt with leaders like that and has finally gone to the position of leadership and will always be humble because of it. The King of Swords up hand is the leader who will be read by, it is that manager, that proprietor who could have their freaking nice shirt on and their tie, and they'll roll up their sleeves. They'll see that it's a busy day in the restaurant and the dishwasher's getting packed up and there's one person there because somebody called out, etc. That leader, that proprietor, that director, that manager will see what's happening, roll their own sleeves up and get into the dishwasher pit with their loyal worker and show them, I'm right here with you. I am by your side. I will not let you fail. That is the King of Swords up hand. It is a leader that says, I'm here with you. It's not here. I am here with you. The King of Swords is the exact opposite. It is a leader who was the belittler. It is a destructive person that misuses their power. It could be a leader that even tries to get things to happen for them. With the, what I'm trying to say is, trying to figure out the right way to say this because this is the examples. It could be that leader who tries to make their subordinates do things for them that are illegal or etc. or completely against policy, because they say, if you don't do this, I'm going to fire you, or etc. It is a person who leads people based off fear. It is a leader that wants people to be afraid of them versus respect them. The King of Swords up hand wants people to listen to them through respect and mutual understandings. The King of Swords in reverse wants people to fear them, and therefore they just follow and ask no questions. This is also, if you ever have a self-reading and you pull the King of Swords in reverse, what it is stating to you, you have to reassess your priorities. It's forgetting that with great power comes great responsibility. It is remembering the influence and responsibilities you have chosen to have in this lifetime. It is not stating that you have completely fallen into being this type of leader. It's letting you know, hey, is your anger, is what you're going through in your personal life starting to be how you treat people at work, professional, people have nothing to do with your personal life? Are you allowing your personal life to affect every other aspect of your life, versus stating, I'm going to handle this head on. And I'm going to remember that with great power comes great responsibility. And the way I decide to present myself that day will affect the people that see me as a leader. It is knowing poker face is for authenticity. It is showing people no matter what you are going through, you can get through it. It is being an example. It is being vulnerable. And it's that leader that shows I am not perfect. So don't expect perfection out of yourself. Expect your best, your authentic abilities, and knowing what today you can achieve. It is that leader that you were meant to be. And pulling that King of Swords in reverse for a self-reading is reminding you of that. It's not saying you've turned to a tyrant and etc. Because if you were, you wouldn't even be looking for the answer. You wouldn't even feel bad. That's the last thing you ever are. It's the King of Swords in reverse. You were a King of Swords up here. That concludes the suit of swords, and also concludes the beginning point of talking about the minor arcana. Congratulations. We have so much more to unpack with each of these suits. Now that we've been able to overcome understanding the basic definitions, the frenzy, we're going to now start going into the companion cards, what it means to even be controlled by a planet, how each individual zodiac can be based off, and the cards and etc. I know I just threw a lot at you, but don't worry. I'm just putting seeds in your pot to let them expand. We will take it step by step, but you got this. And remember, you always watch these videos at your leisure. These are here for you, not to scare you, not to be forced through. I don't care if it takes you 2 years to watch all these videos. You watch them as you are called. And for the apprentices here, because guys, remember I have the tier 7 coaching, and then I have the apprentices. For the apprentices watching this, every single session together, we will always still go over tarot anyways. This is a refresher for you to go back to, for you to go ahead and extremely analyze. The more you hear this, the more you'll understand it, and the more it will grow. It's like watering your plants. You take all of these, and when you feel ready, you share what your universal truths are with the world. You got this. And you're doing phenomenal. And I'm being told, whoever's watching this right now, no matter what time it is, know you're ahead of the game. And there's new fire in you. You've been doing very good at forgiving yourself, others. And this has all been to show you you are the King of Swords. A patient, kind, responsible, fair leader. That is what I have for you today. And I'll see you next week. I think we'll start doing the companion cards. We're going to do the companion cards next week. Alrighty. Let's get it.